Um, in an interview of yours about a year and a half ago, you had said that one of the reasons for this story, for choosing this story, was that you had wanted to write about a marriage.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm very curious about that. Why this marriage?
Well, I mean, I towards the end of The Hungry Ghost, there's a relationship in it that, and as I was writing it, I realized, okay, I actually can do this because I have been in a marriage for now 30 years, and I know how it works. I know how, in all its pleasures and its problems, and so that was one of the thoughts that was with me when I was contemplating what to do next. So it was like, I've talked about why I came to Yasodhara in a certain way, but I haven't also talked about other kind of things I was trying to achieve just as a writer. Just as a pure writer, I was interested in portraying a marriage, because marriage is not something we see very much of in fiction. Usually people get married and that's the end of the novel. So I wanted to write, because a lot of people are married or are in long-term relationships, and there needs to be a reflection of this kind of strange and unique state we seem to, or it's not even unique, but strange state we seem to exist in with another person. And then, of course, I was really interested in seeing if I could lift myself up as a writer. I mean, you know when a project can do that. And with this novel in particular, there were times when I was just terrified of writing a scene, and I would have to go lie down and come back. Like the scene where she comes down the stairs in Kapilavastu and she sees all the women in the courtyard, and all of those women need to be marked so clearly in the reader's point of view because they're going to be so important, but you have to remember who they are. And I read all my technique stuff on character, and I thought I could write it, and I thought, oh my God, I think I'm gonna, I feel sort of faint. I lay down, I came back. So this is great for a writer because you know now you're really pushing yourself beyond any of your previous limits. So I think that also is in the book, you know, I can't, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think what your book did for me was in parts, it made me terribly sad. And for me, that was also a mark of, when you read something, when it affects you really deeply. It's such an amazing story, but there is a deep sadness. And I think you really convey that.
Thank you, Sukanya. I'll take that as a compliment, though I hope next time you interview me, you say, your new book made me laugh. Because I would love to be able to master that. That is a true talent, to be able to make the reader laugh.
Right. So, would you like to read?
Yes. So, I talked a bit about how the Pali canon is sort of terse in various things. It tells us about Siddhartha. And one thing we know is that the reason Siddhartha left the lay life was to follow a guru named Alara Kalama. And we don't know very much about what they talked about, or what about the conversation might have made him want to leave. So I thought so what I wanted to do was imagine that conversation between these two men. So Siddhartha has come the night before because he works during the day as a judge in the Vesa quarters, and Alara Kalama has said, no, I don't see anybody in the evening. You have to come in the morning. I don't care if you're Prince Siddhartha. So the next morning, Siddhartha does get up and he comes and he does the meditations, and now it's over, and so here we go. Siddhartha found the samana he had conversed with the day before and asked again for an audience with Alara Kalama. This time it was granted. He entered the hut and prostrated himself before the sage. Then he sat cross-legged and regarded the old man, who regarded him back. You have returned, Siddhartha, the sage said in his thin, cracked voice, and nodded to say he had expected this. The sage gestured for Siddhartha to speak, and he found himself telling this Alara Kalama, his enormous difficulty of finding any meaning in his existence, the sheer burden of getting through a day, how he felt like he was playing Siddhartha and the performance left him wrung out. And then, Sami, when I couldn't get any harder, I find that my wife is pregnant. And you don't want the child. And you don't want the child? Siddhartha was silent for a moment, his face working. Then he said in a choked voice, "How can I say that, Sami? How can I even allow myself to think that? And that poor child, he or she will guess my thoughts, because children do. Children know if they are not truly loved." Yes, Mita, it must seem a heavy burden, your esteemed position, your pregnant wife. I have met many similarly burdened men, some more burdened than you. Most cannot release themselves from the yokes of the chariots they pull behind them. But a few do. A few do walk away free, no matter the consequences of doing so. But are you really suggesting I leave my wife, my home, to follow you? Siddhartha asked, breathless, astonished. How can I ask this of any man, Mita? All I'm telling you is that what seems exceptional to you has been experienced by other men, and that some of these men, more burdened even than you, as decent as you, left behind their loads to follow me. My path is not necessary. It is not open to all. Only the truly thirsty. And how will I know if I am the truly thirsty? You will know.
Thank you, Sham. Sraboni. So before you